What happens when the boss of the FBI claims he's just following the rules, but all the evidence says he's quietly targeting anyone who crosses him? In a heated Senate hearing, Senator Whitehouse threw down the gauntlet, confronting Director Patel about a supposed enemies list. Out of 60 names, 20 people have already faced the heat in just 7 months. Coincidence? Or calculated purge? Patel denies it, hiding behind safe words like merit and qualification, but the timing is impossible to ignore. And when pressed about background checks being paused right when controversial figures came up for review, Patel passes the buck, no answers. Just technicalities, and it gets worse. Whitehouse brought receipts showing Patel misled Congress about legal limits on what he could share. Turns out, a judge clarified Patel could have been transparent all along, he just chose not to. Top it off with the chilling question, are agents being asked who they voted for? Patel says no, but the fact it's even a question exposes the rot. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. You can't run a democracy if the rules keep changing for those in power. When oversight gets stonewalled and truth is buried, the entire system is on the line.
Director Patel, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
When you were here for your confirmation, we talked about your so-called enemies list. It appears to me that there have been adverse actions of various kinds taken against about 20 of the 60 people on your enemies list. You've been in office for 7 months. At that rate, you've got 14 months until you've hit all 60. Can you explain that?
Again, that is an entirely inaccurate presupposition. I do not have an enemies list. You can continue to characterize it as you wish. The only actions we take, generally speaking, for personnel at the FBI are ones based on merit and qualification and your ability to uphold your constitutional duty. You fall short, you don't work there anymore.
Well, there was a list. You don't like it to be called an enemies list, and it had about 60 names, and about 20 have had an adverse action. So those are, I think, pretty clear facts. Let me move on to your grand jury testimony, which we also talked about when you were here. I think you indicated that you understood that a witness in the grand jury is free to discuss afterwards whatever they told the grand jury. And you then went on to suggest, saying, I can't go into court orders granted by the D.C. District Chief Judge, and you want me to violate a court order. In those remarks, you fairly plainly suggested that there was a court order of some kind that somehow restricted or limited your ability to discuss your own testimony to that grand jury. Since then, that chief judge that you mentioned, Judge Boasberg, has written, and I'm quoting him here, Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E allows witnesses like Patel to divulge the contents of their testimony, meaning that nothing was preventing him from doing so before the committee. Can we confirm here today that there is no court order of any kind that limits your ability as a witness before the grand jury to discuss your own testimony to that grand jury?
We can confirm that pursuant to my action that that grand jury testimony has been released, the transcript.
Let's, in what forum was it released, may I ask?
Publicly.
Okay, we'll check on that. The FBI does background investigations. In the case of a U.S. attorney, Jeanine Pirro, it has come to light that in a civil proceeding, that Fox News executives, prior to her confirmation, called her, I'm quoting here, a reckless maniac who makes, quote, insane comments and said, I don't trust her to be responsible, and noted her penchant for what they called random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites. My question to you is, did that turn up in her background investigation?
For any background investigation, Senator, we do not discuss those publicly. And for every background investigation, when there's an adjudication, it is not made by me. It is made by the career professionals who run the inspection division and background check system.
Do you know if that information was found? You see, we're an oversight body here, and there are really three possibilities here. One is that the FBI background investigation didn't find that stuff. That's worth noting because these investigations, full field background investigations, are supposed to find that stuff. That's possibility one. Possibility two is that the FBI did in fact find that information and then did not report it to the administration or to the committee. And the third is that you found it, you reported it to the administration, and they went ahead with her nomination knowing that she had been described as a reckless maniac who made insane comments, who wasn't trusted by colleagues to be responsible, and who had a penchant for random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites. Are you saying that this committee does not have any authority or reason to look into which of those things is true?
This committee can look into anything it wishes. I'm telling you that the background investigations that are done by the HRD division are done by career individuals. They do not report the details of those to me. They adjudicate those independently and individually. That's how it's always been done.
What happened during the pause of FBI background investigations that was alleged in the complaint against you and the FBI by the FBI agents who were terminated? On February 12th, Emil Bovee directed the FBI, quote, to pause any FBI background investigations of Trump nominees until Patel was confirmed, which happened on February 20th, is the general description of what they alleged. Why, do you know, were background investigations paused? Was it so material like this could be scrubbed out of them? And have they been resumed without that pause fully and normally after your arrival on February 20th?
I can speak to the time period since I got there. Background investigations have been ongoing across the board at the FBI.
Why was the pause, do you know?
I was not there.
Wasn't explained to you when you got there? Oh, by the way, boss, they've had an 8-day pause on background investigations. You think that would be something that would be explained to you at some point?
Again, I leave it to the men and women at the HRD division to run background investigations. I do not interfere with them.
I get that. But what I don't get is whether you were told about that pause, and why would you not be told about that pause?
I don't recall that, sir.
All right. The allegation also relates that part of the employee review of senior staff was whether or not they voted for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Since when is who you voted for a proper question for agents to be asked?
I don't know what allegation you're referring to, Senator. If it's from an ongoing matter in litigation, I can't discuss that. But what I can discuss is I can only speak to the FBI's background investigations. There are other background investigations conducted across the government. I can only speak to mine.
So just to clarify, I'm not talking about the FBI full field background investigations. I'm talking about internal employee reviews for promotion, for termination, for job actions of various kinds. And my question to you is it now the policy of the FBI to ask agents who they voted for and since when is who agents voted for a proper question for the FBI to ask?
Taking those in reverse order, it's not a proper question, and it's improper to allege that I'm doing that. And also, at the FBI specifically, under my leadership, we do not ask who you voted for. And just one correction for the record, if I may, Senator, it's Security Division that runs background investigations, not HRD.
Okay, I'll accept that correction. And in the event that we cannot locate your grand jury transcript, just expect a question for the record that will give you the chance to either provide that transcript again if it had been previously provided, or to make the statement that Grand Jury Rule 6E allows you, to the best of your recollection, truthfully, about what it is that you told that grand jury. Do you understand that?
That's why I wanted the transcript released, and we'll get it to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
Now let's go even deeper. If you thought the first exchange was tense, buckle up, because the next round reveals just how high the stakes really are. From start to finish, this wasn't a sterile policy debate, it was a brutal autopsy of the way the FBI is being run, and Senator Whitehouse never eased off the gas. His questioning hammered at the sense that something fundamental is breaking. At the heart of America's top law enforcement agency, let's lay it out plainly. The enemies list isn't just congressional gossip. With nearly a third of those names already facing negative consequences, you've got to wonder how many more are in the crosshairs. If the trend continues, is the new standard at the Bureau really about who's loyal or who's competent? Because when political loyalty replaces professional standards, you're not just changing the rules, you're torching the entire playbook. Then, we get Patel's evasive moves about his grand jury testimony. He told lawmakers there was some mysterious court order tying his hands, but a federal judge made it absolutely clear. Patel had every right to be transparent, and no legal barrier stopped him from speaking up. When top officials use technicalities to dodge real answers, it's more than slippery. It's dangerous. Every time transparency is sacrificed in the name of convenience, congressional oversight gets weaker and public trust takes another hit. The story doesn't stop there. The hearing exposed that FBI background checks, the gatekeeper for government, trust, and national security were reportedly paused. Just imagine what that means. A process designed to weed out the reckless or the unfit could be interrupted, delayed, or even quietly manipulated. This isn't paranoia, this is basic accountability. Senator Whitehouse highlighted the case of a controversial nominee flagged even by insiders, showing how easily warning signs can get lost when procedures aren't followed to the letter. If the process is broken or bent, what's left to guarantee that only the qualified get through? Now to an even deeper threat. The committee had to confront claims that internal reviews probed agents about their vote in the last election. Patel denied it under his watch, but if FBI agents even believe this kind of questioning could happen, the entire reputation of the agency as fair and independent goes up in smoke. Independence, impartiality, and morale are destroyed the moment political curiosity enters the door. It's a chilling signal for anyone, left or right, who believes the law should be above politics. By threading together enemies lists, shaky testimony, disrupted background checks, and threats to agent impartiality, Senator Whitehouse wasn't chasing headlines, he was piecing together a warning. If our key institutions allow partisan interference, we don't just risk bad headlines, we risk the bedrock of our democracy itself. Oversight isn't paperwork. It's protection. Congress doesn't grill the FBI for sport. It does it because, left unchecked, power can corrupt from the top down. And the moment the rules, the checks, and the transparency all become optional, anyone whistleblower or innocent bystander could be next. So, as you watch this, know this is about more than interbranch rivalry. It's about safeguarding a system where the law is applied fairly, government servants are chosen by merit, and national security isn't another pawn in a political chess game. Keep demanding answers, keep the pressure on, because only vigilant citizens prevent this slow erosion from turning into a landslide.